I have been waiting to film this video for months, guys. So many of you have asked me to film this video, and the only reason why I haven't until now is because I was waiting to buy some paperbacks from this particular author. So if you clicked on the video, you know by the title, today I'm going to be going through all the books that I have read from Penelope Douglas, the Queen Han. I love Pen Dougie Man so much. She's one of my favorite authors. You never come across a book that is similar to Penelope Douglas's writing, and if you do, she did it first, and someone else has been inspired by her. I started doing this a couple of months ago where I sit down and talk about my favorite authors and the books that I've read from them and tell you guys my favorites. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I'm not well at the moment, so if my speech is 10 times worse than normal, we love that. And if I just sound a little bit unwell, it's because I'm not well. I'm not well at all, but I'll put on a show just for you guys, so appreciate it. I slept with my hair in braids last night, so I woke up this morning and bitch, my hair was so fluffy. And I tried straightening it, but it's just like, it's really like fluffy today. Anyway, ignoring that, and I've got zero fake tan on. And I channeled like my inner vampire for this video. I don't know why. I just felt like red. Okay, so I'm going to start first with Punk 57 because I've seen this as of recently. For some reason, it's just blown up on TikTok. I don't know why. I know it's a good book, but it's not a new release, so I don't know why everyone's screaming over it. This here is the book that I'm talking about. So this is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. And before I get into this book, I'm going to tell you straight away, this is not my favorite. It's just like my third least favorite from Penelope. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just didn't really get into it as much as what everyone else has. This is a pen pal romance. So it's about this guy and this girl who begin to write to each other when they're in like elementary school, I think it is. It was a while ago when I read this, so fact check me down below if you want. And they are like perfect for each other and they tell each other everything. Something happens and they stop writing to each other, but down the track they end up going to the same school as one another, but they don't know who each other are. They made a pact with one another that they were never going to send photos of what they look like to each other, and they used different names for the pen pal situation, so they actually don't know who each other are. And they've met in person at this school and they do not get along. The male character in this book absolutely hates the heroine, hates her, and is kind of like shocked when he finds out who she is, because she is in person the complete opposite to what she used to write to him and what he knows. It is super steamy. There's a couple of steamy scenes in here. I understand why this is super popular. It is a pen pal romance and a lot of people do like pen pal romances, and also it's set in high school, where I don't really read a lot of books set in high school anymore. I can go through phases where I want to like pretend I'm still in high school, but I'm nearly 26, you know, so it's like not really relatable. I don't want to be crushing on someone who's 17, but I do go through my stages. So that's Punk 57. Now, we're going to talk about Birthday Girl, because Birthday Girl is one of the best that Penelope has ever written. You cannot tell me otherwise. This is the best age gap slow burn I've ever read. It was my first ever age gap slow burn that I ever read. I feel like no other book can compete with Birthday Girl. I know a lot of people have read this because of me, and I know some people have actually DNF'd it after my recommendation. I don't know what crack you're on, hun, but we're clearly not on the same, because this is brilliant. This is very taboo, and this is something that I love about Penelope. She can write super taboo romances, but do it in a way where it's classy. In your mind, you can accept it. It doesn't clash with your morals. Like, you can read really taboo shit from Penelope and she just does it the best. She is one of the best sex scene writers that I personally believe I've come across, and I read tons of different books from tons of different authors. And I've recommended this book so many times here on my channel. This is about Jordan and Pike. So Jordan is 19 years old and she currently has a boyfriend. They get kicked out of their home, their apartment that they're living in at the moment. So Jordan's boyfriend decides to move in with his father, and he tells Jordan, like, you're allowed to come and live with me too. So this young couple decides to move in to the boyfriend's parents' house, well, the father's house, and that's when you meet Pike. Pike is in his 30s. He had his son quite young. and they have a really rocky relationship from the get-go. So that adds a little bit of conflict and a little bit more to the story, which makes it a little bit more complex and more enjoyable to read. Pike is Jordan's boyfriend's father. It's already a big no-no, but you cannot deny their chemistry and their connection, and neither can Pike and Jordan. They actually originally meet in the story before Jordan even moves into his house, and they don't figure out until after they meet who each other actually are, which I feel like that's a little bit of a pattern with Penelope. The aesthetic of this book is amazing too. I don't read a lot of slow burns, okay? But I don't like insta love. But do you know when you come across those slow burns where you feel everything and you're just like, oh bitch, like this is in my gut. Yeah, it's in your gut. That is this book. I love it. I've read this twice. I don't know if I'll read it ever again. Because you know how sometimes you get those books, you read them and they were just so good that you just never want to go back. You never want to tarnish the like initial experience you had reading it. That's how I feel about this book. Honestly guys, I'm so not well. Like, look at me. I'm just a piece of shit right now. Anyway, well, I feel like that. I'm not a piece of shit. Like, come on now. I'm still fabulous. I'm just not well. This next book we're going to be talking about is Taboo AF in the best way fucking possible. And it is my favorite book. Sometimes I just gotta check if I've got lipstick on my teeth. This is my favorite book ever. Like top 5. If you want me to film a top 5 favorite standalones of all time, let me know. I can totally film that. I'm talking about Credence. Now, people may argue with me and say Birthday Girl's the best. Personally, Credence is my favorite. Top 5, baby. I was so in this book, you have no idea. Like, no one can actually understand how in love I was with this book when I read this at the start of 2020. I woke up thinking about it. I dreamed about it. I was listening to the Spotify playlist that Penelope created for this book. I had a whole Pinterest board dedicated to this book. Credence is about this young girl who loses her parents. Her parents actually commit suicide together because they were so in love with one another that they didn't want to live without each other. I'm pretty sure they were sick or something. It was a while ago. The main girl in this book has grown up on her own. She's never felt love from her parents, and if she did, she noticed that it wasn't the same love that they shared together. She's lonely. She's lost. She loses her parents and her whole life gets flipped upside down. She gets a contact from her step-uncle. So, step-uncle. They're not actually related, and she didn't know he existed until her parents died. They had written that if anything was going to happen to them, that the main heroine was going to be placed in the care of her step-uncle. So when he finds out that they pass away, he contacts her and he's like, hey, I'm your step-uncle that you've never met before. I live in the mountains in Colorado. Do you want to come and live with me? At first, she's like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Like, I don't know if I'm going to go live in the mountains, like, with my step-uncle. And he has 2 kids. I reckon she made the best decision possible. I know I would have chose that. The relationships with each guy take place at different times. And there is one prominent, like, dominant love interest that wins her heart at the end. This was so steamy and I loved all of them. It was one of those books, I usually don't like love triangles and stuff like that, and I know a lot of people don't, but this was the type of book where I was like, no, but I want her with him. But no, I want her with him. No, but what about him? Like, I loved all 3 men in this book equally. No wonder she fucked them all, honestly. Like, let's be real. Perfection, honestly. Like, chef's kiss, bitch. Chef's fucking kiss. I also read Bully from Penelope Douglas, which I believe is one of the first books she wrote and is the first series that she ever released. I read this before I read any of these books. And I thought it was okay. Not my favorite. It's pretty much like a friends to enemies to lovers situation. These 2 people grew up together. They were close. Something happened. He began bullying her. Their whole love story, to me personally, I was just like, doesn't really sit the best with me. But I know a lot of people do love this book, and I know a lot of people love this series. Because I didn't enjoy Bully as much as I enjoyed her other books, I didn't continue on with this series. I also read her Devil's Night series, which was some of the first dark romances that I had ever read, and it really opened up that subgenre for me. Usually, not all of her books, but Pen is one of those authors that if I read it, I'm in it. And it was it was similar to Credence and Birthday Girl when I first read this. So the first book is called Corrupt. Now, how do I explain this series? It's a bully type of romance series. It is a companion novel series, but the storyline intertwines. And each couple has a history, and each book is dual timelines. So you go back and forth between the past and the present. So you learn about what happened in the past and then what's going on now, which isn't something that I particularly like, but I let it slide with this series just because I liked it so much. So the first book is Corrupt. Michael and Rika. So Michael is a super alpha dude that had like a group of friends in high school, and they used to go around once a year around Halloween time. They'd call it Devil's Night and like torment their town. Back in the day, Rika used to be really obsessed with him, and she was a few years younger than him. She ends up getting caught one night trying to follow him and his friends on Devil's Night, and something goes down that night that causes the boys, minus Michael, to be locked up for years. So the book starts off with them kind of getting out of prison and them wanting revenge on Rika because she's the reason why they got locked up. We got Hideaway, which is about Kai, and Kai is one of Michael's like minions, I guess. He's a part of the group. What are they called? The Four Horsemen? I can't remember. They've got a name for what they are. So this is about Kai and his love interest and their history. And then you've got Kill Switch, which is one of my fucking favorites. Kill Switch is brilliant. One of the best things Penelope has ever written personally. I love this so much. So this is about Damon, who obviously is in the gang. And in the first two books, he is a really bad person. He does some horrible things to a lot of people that you care about. But then you learn about Damon and you're like, oh my God, like he is gorgeous. And his love interest is actually blind, which I loved that aspect and that concept to this book. Definitely my favorite out of the Devil's Night series, next to Corrupt. I liked Hideaway, but it just wasn't as good as the others. But it's better than what I'm going to say next. Then there's Conclave, which is a little novella that Penelope wrote to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit before the following book. Then you've got Nightfall, which is Will's book. Bitch, I was disappointed. I did not like this book. I did not like this book. There were certain aspects of this book that I liked, but then I just felt like it was too big and it dragged on for too long. I can't really explain much about this book because it kind of gives away some of the storyline, but yes, this is Will's book and his love interest is Emery, and their past and present situation takes them back to the original night. So that's a common theme throughout this book. All these things happened with these different guys on Devil's Night, and it's all like an intertwined plot, which is a novella that kind of wraps up the series. And the couples are in this novella, and it also has their children, and it kind of sets up a next generation type of thing. I don't know if anyone can confirm this or not, but I don't know if Penelope is going to write a next generation series featuring the children. I believe she is, and especially with this novella, because it shows a bond between two of the children, and they're related. But it's like a romantic bond. So it's interesting that she put that in there, and it's going to be interesting to see if she's going to go down that route, which I'm not opposed to. Fiction's fiction, you know what I mean? I'll get down with anything. I wanted to shout out her newest release that is coming up the 1st of June, I believe. And I'm so ready for this because this is a female romance. We've got a lesbian romance, bitch. I haven't read one. I have not read one, and I am dying for this. And the previews look phenomenal. They look magnificent, and I'm so ready. It's like a bully romance, and it's like at a school, and they've got schools, bitch. It's like Tryst Six Venom, I think it's called, or something like that. I'll leave the image on the screen here. Yes, so we've got a high school bully romance between two girls. She's gonna nail the shit out of this and I cannot wait. Let me know in the comments below if you would like me to buy the book and do a reading vlog. Let me know. I could totally do that. Or I might just read it on my own and just enjoy it without the worry of filming it. But let me know. Okay, so that is it for my Penelope Douglas video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry if I was shit. I really do. I'm really not well. If you know, you know. But I've got to do what I've got to do, you know. Your girl's got to get that coin even when she doesn't feel like it. So I wish I could have been a bit more high energy for this video, because Penelope is one of my favorites, and hello, my favorite book of all time. Also, let me know in the comments below if you do want to see a top 5 favorite standalones of all time. Let me know in the comments below. Alright, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Social media links are down below. Don't leave before subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me, and I'll see you in my next video.